Manny out, Mario in. Welcome to a special edition of Miami Hurricanes Live right here at the Voice of College Football. And if you're not familiar, here is the wholesome one. He makes this happen. He makes this go. So we appreciate his efforts each and every time. And especially on this glorious day, wholesome one, it is good to see you, sir.
It's I don't even know what to say. I do have one thing, Mark.
Good selection.
Marky did it, and all right, that's enough for that. I had to let that out. Um, wow, we did it, Mark. Still a lot to get done. Still a lot to get done, but it's a happy feeling for me. When you first gave me this opportunity, this was one of the things I talked about, and he was still an assistant at Alabama at the time. So we've been doing this for a while. And I always felt like he would be the good choice. And he goes to Oregon and he proves himself, and that's all we ask for. We've been just wanting a proven coach, and we got him. We got him. Still so much on the staff and the roster, but bear with me, guys. I'm just happy because this is somebody when you've wanted this as much as I have for him and have this opportunity and um, to know that these young men are finally being positioned and coached up well. And of course, I feel for Oregon to a certain extent because um, he's really spearheaded their program and helped them go in a different direction as far as growth, and that's big for them. So it is unfortunate for them, and that's the way the cookie crumbles as far as coaching. So I think that they're very braggadocious. Their fan base is very braggadocious about how much money they have, and Phil Knight and Nike and all that kind of stuff, and the fancy uniforms. They're a program on the upward trajectory. So I'm hoping that they can cash on that check as much as they run their mouth about that. So we'll see.
Also, before we continue about the pursuit and capture of Mario Cristobal and his trajectory with Miami going forward, I want to state something that you've said many times as you have made your request for Mario Cristobal, that this is not any indictment on Manny Diaz as a person. I'm sure he's a quality individual. It's not that he did anything wrong, that he did anything overtly wrong in regards to mismanaging the program from that standpoint, didn't do anything outside the rules. By all indications, gave it an honest effort, did his best, but just did not meet the standards of what the program sees for itself.
Again, I do appreciate that. It's you get into these absolutes, and in media, what we do, people believe that we are just absolutes, and if you root for this person, then you're anti this person. If you believe in what someone else does, that means you're completely opposite of them, and you're the spawn of Satan. That's not what this is about. We're dealing with people. Now, I've been very critical, and that's true. I've been critical of Manny Diaz as a coach, and I've come here multiple times and said, and even Cam Underwood has said it. When we are critical as media, we speak about these players and these coaches. We're talking about them as far as their profession. Okay, we're not speaking about them as far as the human being. That's someone's child. He is Manny Diaz Senior's son, and his mother's son. So I'm not here to um, disrespect him or to step on his name. I think that he inherited something that was solid, but had to have someone who knew how to do a rebuild. Like I just spoke about, Mario had done that to a certain extent with Oregon. He inherited a team from Willie Taggart. Yes, that team did have Herbert on it, a first-round quarterback, and yes, did he not use Herbert to the full extent? That is true, but he has openly thought about that and openly spoke about the fact that he needed to grow as a coach and go find an offensive coordinator that can help in modern day coaching and how we do that. So again, when it comes to Manny Diaz, I think that he's going to fall on his feet somewhere. It could be with his connections at Utah State, could be in any one of his connections in the SEC. could also be going and being a defensive coordinator at a Power 5 school. I believe that he's going to go and be a defensive analyst, or maybe even take a head coaching job at a lower level Group of 5 FCS, um, in my opinion. So again, the people who today, it is sad for them because they do lose a job. You don't root for, especially with me wanting to get into coaching and working on that. You don't root for people to lose their jobs because they have families and things that they have to feed. But when it comes to what you do on that football field, everything is scrutinized. Everything um, is up for judgment. So we're hoping that he can fall on his feet because at the end of the day, the University of Miami has moved on now with a different person. And I think Manny Diaz can step away and do the same thing and fall on his feet somewhere else.
So I didn't read into it or draw any timelines, but there's a lot of talk as Jet Mech is making a comment here about the logistics and the timing and Miami keeping Manny employed while negotiating with Mario Cristobal and whether that could have been handled better.
Um, I want to be careful as how I say this because, Mark, I'm gonna just be bluntly honest with you. This happens a lot of places. Okay, it happens a lot of places. These things, coaches up and leave, programs look. I understand that I mean, they must have sent out a public service announcement on the ESPN. I mean, everybody with a blue check attached to ESPN decided to comment on the way that Miami is being ultra disrespectful towards Manny Diaz. Now, again, I'm not here to take low blow shots at what he did to Temple. Um, so, you can look into that as it be. These things do happen. And he still was employed by the University of Miami and still being paid by the University of Miami. So therefore, he was still doing his job. I understand that the University of Miami doesn't have an athletic director. So at that time, we do currently have an athletic director now, from Clemson, so he helped build there. We'll get to that part. But those things do happen in the coaching industry where people are going to be looking out um, for themselves. And I get it, man. It reports that he was out recruiting and he canceled a trip to California because he found out that we were looking for Mario. I could understand in some people's eyes that it is immorally wrong. If you understand and follow the coaching industry, these things do happen. Okay.
What we saw take place here in the last few days at Miami shows that Miami proved and decided to be bold. And so we're seeing bold moves made around college football where USC went out and got their man, even though their man, Lincoln Riley, had an elite job already. That didn't cause them to back off and think, well, he's untouchable. They went out and got their man. LSU, even though Brian Kelly's holding down a top 5 to 10 job in the country, went and got the man that they wanted, even though it could have been thought in the traditional thinking would be, well, we're not going to contact Brian Kelly. He's at Notre Dame. Why would he come to LSU? Schools are going out there and making bold moves. Miami's breaking from its recent past of the last 20 years to make a bold move and not just say, well, Mario Cristobal, that would be great. And if things fall a certain way in the next few years, and we'll give Manny another year, and he went 7-5 and they played better in the second half, and we'll give him another year and see how things go, and hopefully we'll improve. They went out and got their man.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, they did. They did. I can't hold my emotion back on that one. It showed a lot. And it showed a lot because it speaks to even something bigger than Mario Cristobal himself. It speaks about the fact of the buy-in to the University of Miami's football program and for what we're hoping athletics, period, but mainly the football program. And I spoke about this for weeks. I kept saying, if you go in that route, you're going to need Mario Cristobal to be the lead. I understand there are plenty of people who are upset about the fact that we didn't get Lane Kiffin. I understand. I get it. The flash in the pan approach is what you wanted. But a program builder from ground zero, because that's what this is, regardless of the star system, regardless of the so-so schedule next year, this is a rebuild from the ground up. Okay. They're putting millions and millions and millions, not just in the staff. You're talking about you're going to recruiting staff, talking about defensive and offensive analysts, you're talking about quality controls, you're talking about grad assistants. There is a true all-in buy-in to build a true football program, which is comparable to what is across college football. You look at what Coach Cristobal helped build over at Oregon and where he was building everything up. And again, from ground, he did a rebuild for 5 years at Oregon. Now he comes here and can do the same. I don't know if he'll necessarily have the exact same budget, but again, he may not need that exact same budget. Why? Because he doesn't need a private jet to leave the Pacific Northwest to go find new people. He doesn't need bells and whistles to say, "Hey, look at me! Hey, look at me!" We can do it with what's happening locally and even in our region. And guess what? We do have um, private jets that if you do need to go see a guy in New York, let's say it's a quarterback in Pennsylvania, blowing your mind away. Let's go check him out. A linebacker out of Texas, linebacker out of Louisiana, California, wherever. Let's go do it. But you don't have to do those things in order to be successful. So this is why I knew for Mario Cristobal to leave Oregon, a very good situation, Mark, we've spoken about it, a very good situation for him. Okay, he can be 9-4, 10-2, whatever, and hang out over there and keep building and keep stacking recruiting. Or he can come home and do the same thing here at Miami. Okay, but in order for that to be a fact, for it to happen, for him to put pen to paper, he would have had to know without a shadow of a doubt that he would get equivalent or something close to the buy-in that he got at Oregon, both financially as far as him and being compensated, but also to be able to surround him with the people and the ability to have the people around him to make sure it's done right and to make sure he can be successful. And that these young men that he's inheriting and the young men he's going to bring in from the portal and the young men he's going to bring in from recruiting out of the high school, local high schools and high schools across the country can be successful. And that's what I believe Miami had to show and had to prove to Mario Cristobal and his representatives that things are going to be right. And that's why we got him today. That is why we got him today.
We see this situation on a regular basis where a coach will be fired the day after a season ends. A new coach will be hired, let's say, in the next 48 hours. And there will be with this early signing period that has been established here in the last 3 to 4 years, there is a mad dash by that new coach. Maybe it's Brian Harsin coming all the way from Boise State, where he has no contact with anybody in the SEC, has never coached in the SEC. They don't know who he is. He's got to come in and scramble and try to make contacts and try to retain a class and sell kids on, hey, I know I'm a new guy and you don't know a whole lot about me, but this is what I'm trying to build here. And he's trying to assemble a class and trying to keep it together. I would think that even though that's still going to be some work for Mario and his staff, he's got a huge advantage being a Miami guy coming home. And like you say, more so and more often than not, just hopping in a car to retain a class than most situations like this.
And Mark, even further, you think about who's going to be able to rebuild the relationships locally. Mark, we've gone this entire recruiting class. We don't have one person committed to the University of Miami from the state of Florida. Not just the Tri-County state of Miami, of Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade down to the Keys. No one. Guess what, Mark? These high school coaches, Wesley Bassant just committed yesterday, so there's that. We do have someone now, but for the longest, we did not. Okay, I do stand corrected. Thank you, Fan. Thank you. I appreciate that. I did think about that. He was not committed here. Okay, we didn't have anybody. So what do we have to do? In order to rebuild that relationship. You have to be able to do that. And Mario has had plenty of relationships dating back to his time here in Miami, dating back to his time at Alabama, to his time at Oregon, where he comes down and still is the best guard out of Dade County. Um, Last name Dennis played guard and center at South Dade to come be his future center at Oregon in class of 2020. So it's it's a good thing, man. It's a good thing, and he's going to get to work. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not already on the phone working um, in recruiting. I don't know how, if he's technically allowed to until he puts pen to paper, all that kind of stuff. But he's definitely having people work. He's definitely having people work for him. Wow, the donations coming out the wazoo.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody being here because we just scheduled this thanks to the Wholesome One. We had talked a couple of times over the weekend and contacted each other knowing that this was imminent, but not knowing exactly when and what would be the right timing to do it in its proper way. And obviously the announcements all came down. So thank you for having. So a lesson to everybody else that's jumping on late. Hit that bell for the notifications to know when we go live. Once you've subscribed, do the same thing at the Wholesome One's channel, Wholesome One Holloway, right here on YouTube. I'm sure just about everybody that I'm talking to knows the Wholesome One. But if you do not, or you're not subscribed, you do the same thing there that you do here. Head on over there, subscribe, hit that bell for the notifications so you know when he's going live, when he's dropping new content, because that gave everybody the jump. So we are pushing 600 here live. So we appreciate that. So let's hit the super chat contributions here. We appreciate everybody being here. Mr. HD, Mark and Wholesome One, I want you all to put the word out there that we back up. We back up.
Okay, appreciate.
Guess that means we're back.
I don't.
That's how I'm reading. That's how I'm reading that one, Wholesome One. I caught it the same way that you did, but I'm reading it that we're back.
All right, we back. We back. Again, respectfully, man, Mr. HD, I appreciate it. I appreciate the energy. I'm with you. Again, the U is not back until the we're putting W's consistently on the board, and building a program. But this is a nice step in the right direction, and we're happy about it. I will say, I wouldn't say we're back just yet, man. We felt the same way in 2017, and see how that went. So we got to keep it going. Got to keep it going.
Chugmo Beer, appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for that. Mark in H1H, great day to be a Miami Hurricane. The U has a bright future. Finally smash. The U has a bright future. Finally smash the like button. Canes for life. Good to see you, Chugmo Beer. Appreciate that.
Appreciate you, man.
Let me make sure we don't miss any here. Get to the next one coming up here. We've got Joshua. Good to see you, Joshua. Thank you so much for your contribution. Watch Recruiting, Earl Little, and Shamar bring in T2.
Yes. It's recruiting is turning into a whole different monster. So many things popping up and about people and putting the eye emojis and being excited and say interesting and things like that. You see some of these big 4 and 5 stars, especially on the offensive line. They are loving it. And Earl Little Jr., his father, Earl Little Sr., played at Miami, also went, Cleveland Brown, been very outspoken about Manny Diaz and the lack thereof of Manny Diaz's recruitment of his son and more of a feeling of just, oh, you're from Miami, your dad went here, you should just come here kind of approach, as opposed to recruiting him just as hard as he recruits any other young man. Okay. And, that's no bueno. There's no need to do those kind of things. You recruit, there is no sense of entitlement. We recruit just as hard. I don't care if you were born at UHealth. Okay. You need to be recruited just as hard, especially talking about a 5-star defensive back like Earl Little. So I'll tell you this much. I think he'll be in conversation. The person that recruited him the hardest in the entire approach has been Mario Cristobal. So there's a relationship already built there, just like Shamar Stewart. There's a relationship already built there. And just like Terrence Lewis, T2, who's on there was a relationship built from last recruiting class, but he picked Maryland. So there's a lot of relationships on all those three young men's names that was built through Mario Cristobal and his recruitment of them, whether it was this year or last year. And I expect Miami to be in conversation with. We do have National Signing Day, which is next Wednesday. So you do have a little bit of time. Now, once he comes and puts pen to paper, also once the athletic director comes and puts pen to paper, which is expected to happen this afternoon within the next 2 to 6 hours, something like that, we're going to be good. We're going to be good. Everybody will have pen to paper, and everybody can go out and legally recruit and things of that nature. So I expect stuff to kind of take off there.
Miami Hurricanes Live here every Tuesday with the Wholesome One at 1:15 Eastern Time. So lock that in. But we've got a special edition right here, and we appreciate the Wholesome One jumping on.
We'll be on tomorrow too, Mark. We on tomorrow too. Let's do
Absolutely.
it. Let's do it.
If you're here, I'll be here.
Let's do it.
We got our guy Ronan here. Ronan, good to see you, man. Good to see you. It's been a while, but great to see you. Thank you so much for the contribution. Ronan says, thank you to Manny Diaz for all his efforts and, more importantly, the conduct through all of this. A great man, just not a great head coach. We got the man, myself, and Wholesome One wanted. Go Canes.
Yeah, we definitely have talked about it. Huge, man. We talked about it for a while, for years on this platform. Any platform I got on, I have been very vocal about this. Again, we're going to be positive. We're going to be happy about it. There is stuff that there's about getting to work and being able to build things and being able to get and build a program. But, you know, what the funny part is, the haters, the haters, man. For a long time, you know, you got people come on and say, why are you discussing a job that isn't open? And talking about how Mario Cristobal is unrealistic. Why would he leave Oregon? Think about the money. You can't get in a bidding war with Nike and the facilities, and they're a way better program, and it's a better job, and blah, 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 blah. Just signed officially 7 minutes ago. Mario Cristobal, according to Manny Navarro, my hero, signed a 10-year, $8 million per deal to the University of Miami. So it is official. Mario Cristobal, pen to paper for the University of Miami.
There you have it. There you have it. Alex Perez, thank you so much for the Super Chat contribution. Appreciate that so much. I was born in 03. Been a Canes fan my whole life. I hope with this hire, I get to see dominance for the first time ever. Wholesome for D-line coach.
If I got a call, I would have to seriously consider, you know, I do work for my alma mater, so I would have to be very careful in that approach. It would be a true blessing, and I would have to pack my bags and go. So if it happened, I would be right there, you know. And Mark, you'll have someone on the inside you could always text. Yeah.
Next up, who we got? Oregon Ducks. So I will remind everyone we're simulcasting on the main channel, and also for you unfortunate Oregon fans, I just thought it is newsworthy and it's obviously connected to your program. So we simulcast here on the Oregon channel as well. Oregon Ducks writing that Hope Cristobal makes better decisions at Miami. He's a great dude, just can't understand the quarterback choice. Please send Kiffin or Kelly. Thanks.
I would agree. Again, this is a joyous occasion, but again, there are some things that we would have to see if, you know, when it comes to Coach Cristobal, if he's going to do some of the same things he did at Oregon, being, you know, blindly loyal to that quarterback who just didn't help him when he has a 5-star on the bench. I think there's a big question mark there. I understand people's issue with that. I watched them a lot because of course, you know, growing up in Miami, a lot of people's team that they like to watch late night because USC hasn't been much for us growing up was around that 2010, 2011, it was staying up late to watch Oregon. It was called, Pac-12 at night. And it was something that we loved to do, and we would talk about it that next day or Monday when we got to school. It's like, hey, you saw what Oregon had on? Yeah, they probably didn't win the game, but it was cool to see what they had on and things of that nature. So I've been watching Oregon for a while, and to be honest with you, it was really tough to watch them play this year due to the fact that the quarterback just put them in so many bad situations. So I'm hoping and praying we don't have that. And we're blessed to have a really good QB here at Miami in Tyler Van Dyke. So I don't think we will have those problems.
So, Miami fans, if you're unfamiliar, Anthony Brown was the starting quarterback at Boston College. His final
He beat
season
us.
there, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. What was that, Wholesome One?
He beat us. We played
Yeah,
in
so
2018. He beat us.
He's a mobile quarterback. He has stacked up quite a few 100-yard rushing games this year. Had a decent season at Boston College, as I just mentioned, off the top of my head, 20 or 21 touchdowns and 9 picks for Boston College teams that were doing what Boston College does, 7-5. He transfers to Oregon. Wholesome One alluded to Ty Thompson, who's a 5-star, I believe, in the 2020 class. So he could have played both in 20 and 21. They also have a baseball player that's also a pretty highly touted quarterback that a lot of Oregon people that I talked to wanted to see be given a shot. So anyway, Mario Cristobal went with experience. Anthony Brown shared time in 2020 with Tyler Shook. Of course, there was a shortened season. They only played 7 games. They did win the Pac-12 championship game over USC. They did play in the Fiesta Bowl against Iowa State. Tyler Shook was benched in the Fiesta Bowl game. Anthony Brown came in, played a little bit better, didn't do much of anything. They lost by 17 points to Iowa State in the Fiesta. Shook transferred to Texas Tech. That handed the job to Brown, although Thompson and, again, they've got a baseball player who's about a 4-star, I can't recall his name, is in the mix. And this season, Anthony Brown at his very best against Ohio State with the support of a 300-yard rushing attack, had a lot of open throws, made the throws. They were easy throws, but he made them. That's the best he played. And there were games, I saw him quite a few times. I saw both Utah games. I saw the collapse against Stanford down the stretch where it was just really bad quarterback play. He's mobile. Mario stayed with him, and they lost some football games this year. So that's what Oregon Ducks is alluding to right there. All right. Next up, Alex coming back. Appreciate that, Alex. Thank you so much for the contribution, sir. Wholesome and Mark, what roster move could you see with this team? Stuff like players transferring in and out of Miami, recruits, flipping.
Okay. I'll try to, honestly, there would be a lot. There would be a lot of turnover. As far as you've already seen a couple people, B.J. Jennings, former inside linebacker for the Miami Hurricanes, now an Indiana Hoosier, moving to the Big Ten, which I felt was always more of what he would be. He's a 6 foot, 242-pound guy. He's more of like a run heavy, hit you in the mouth kind of middle linebacker. And in a 4-2-5 scheme that the University of Miami was running under previous Coach DIAZ, that stuff doesn't work. As far it doesn't fit into what they do well. As far as what B.J. Jennings brought to the table. Gervin Hall, former safety number 26 here. He is already in the portal. You got guys like Mark Pope and D. Wiggins who are in the portal. You have Cam Williams, defensive end, in the portal. So there was a lot of turnover happening already, and I think we're going to see more. As far as to put names on it, I don't necessarily know any names. Corey Gaynor, former center starter here at the University of Miami, who got hurt, things of that nature. Now Ja'Kai Clark, someone who has 3 years left of eligibility, is the starter. He's basically the center, get in and go. So Corey Gaynor is also in the transfer portal right now, effective for Miami. I think there could be a big turnover. There are some people a Oregon Duck. I don't know if this is official. I will check his Twitter right now. But there was a certain guy, inside linebacker, former big Miami recruit, who said he was gonna hit the portal. There was rumors about him hitting the portal. That guy's Justin Flo. A guy where Miami finished second. He was a big Miami lean, and then Miami went on a big downward spiral late in the 2019 season and lost out on a blue chip marquee inside linebacker recruit. So there's that. I think that you're going to have a lot of those young men who moved away. I brought up T2, Terrence Lewis, coming from Maryland. He's in the portal right now, effective former 4-star, 5-star linebacker. His best friend, Wesley Bassett, who was a year under him, just committed to the University of Miami yesterday. So there's that. Okay, so, follow the tea leaves. Where there's smoke, there's a little fire. And when there's a hell of a lot of smoke, there's a big fire. All right, so we look at something like that that's going to happen there. Again, to put names on it, I don't necessarily know too many other names, but I know that a lot of people are going to have some serious conversations with themselves, because if Miami does step up, which I believe is going to happen, we hired a marquee recruiter and a CEO type. I think he's going to bring that to the University of Miami also. So what that means is he's going to look at this roster and he's going to evaluate this roster. And there are some people he's going to have some tough conversations with, in my opinion. It's just that simple.
7:50 on the line. Appreciate everybody being here. Keep in mind, we're here every Tuesday with the Wholesome One as well. 1:15 Eastern every Tuesday. So you could be here for Miami Talk every Tuesday. So we'll be back here tomorrow. We'll keep doing it. It's going to be fascinating, Wholesome One.
Mark, we should have more information by tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay, then we'll hop on and talk tomorrow, and we'll do staffs and what could happen. Big name here. Mutual interest between local Hialeah. I live my hometown in Miami, Florida, Miami Lakes, Hialeah. But Joe Brady, offensive coordinator, just got let go yesterday by the Carolina Panthers. He's from Hialeah, Florida, which is one of the cities in Miami. And I'm just saying, I don't necessarily, I'm not against it. I for one, would like to go in a direction of a Tom Herman or something like that, but I wouldn't be juxtaposed to a Joe Brady taking the offensive coordinator gig at the University of Miami. So there is mutual interest. So we'll see.
It's going to be interesting to see the approach to offensive line recruiting and development under Mario Cristobal, because that's been an issue. And to see with his reputation for developing offensive linemen and getting them pretty decent paychecks at the next level, how that helps recruiting, and then also helps in his attention to that position, the detail of the development once they get to Miami, and how much better that's going to be.
That's a big thing. Amongst a lot of stuff, Mark, I'm going to tell you, the number 1 and number 2 name that shoots to the top of the board right now needs to be Julian Armella, offensive tackle, St. Thomas acquaintance. Number 2 needs to be Shamar Stewart, defensive end. I think it's Pace. I think he attends Pace. All right, these guys are in the trenches. You follow what has made Mario Cristobal who he is. It's the elite recruiting on the offensive and defensive line and being able to build the team from the inside out. Okay, we already got the QB. All right, we have a nice running back core. We have a solid wide receiving core, even though we're losing Rambo and things of that nature. We have a really nice to solid tight end. The offensive line, as of right now, you got 3 positions, 3 guys who did play very well or pretty solid for us. And Zion Nelson, Ja'Kai Clark at center. And then at right tackle, you have the return of John Campbell coming off an ACL, who started for us the 2 previous years in 19 and 20. So I think we should be all right there. But you talk about being able to have a coach that can Get a guy like a Julian Armella, who's dog, who's nasty, aggressive kind of offensive line, and get him to be able to channel that the proper way. Get a guy who can hit you after the play and push you because he's so aggressive, and a guy like Terrence Lewis, and a guy like Wesley Bissett, and a guy like those kind of players who are dogs. They respond well to a coach that can truly facilitate, young men. So we're hoping that he can come in and truly help the culture and the psyche and the focus of these players to get them all aligned for one goal.
You would think if he was the head coach this past season and with a capable staff that they're 9-3 minimum. They lose to Bama. Bama's the best team in the country. Michigan State becomes a competitive game, not a 3-touchdown loss. Who knows? Maybe they win. They're at home. Michigan State's not loaded with talent. They're a good team. They're a really solid, good team, but they're not anything. They don't have a 4 or 5-star roster. And then, surprisingly, of course, they beat maybe the two best teams on the schedule in the ACC, and NC State and Miami, but they lost 3 other games. So it comes out to 7-5, which you got to think it would have been 9-3 at the worst, probably 10-2.
Could have been, man. I don't even know if a guy like De'Aaron King starts on a team coached by Mario Cristobal. There's just certain things that are different, and I don't know if what he brings to the table would have worked well. And like I said, who knows how the team would have looked and who would have been our coordinators, but I get you. If he's just the head coach and everything else stays the same, I do get your view. I think that this Michigan State game was a lot closer, revisionist history. Of course, They pulled away late and things like that nature. They fought really hard, and it was a good game, but eventually they pulled away and the better team, showed up and showed out. So there's that. I just know for a fact that guys like Navon Donaldson, guys like Zion Nelson, guys like a Jalen Rivers, guys like a Ja'Kai Clark and Jared Williams, the offensive line would have looked and played on a different level. And it's just that simple. It's just that simple.
We've got War Paint Coating Systems. Thank you so much for the super sticker. It's got nothing to tell us, but we appreciate the contribution. Thank you so much for that. Alex coming back here. Thank you so much for the contribution, Alex. That Cuban and Miami connection is so strong. My dad felt Manny just because he was Cuban.
I understand it. Trust me. Just like at Notre Dame, I can't stand Notre Dame. I think that it's and I'm not Catholic, so as far as football team, I'm not. As far as with Notre Dame, I don't really like them much at all, but I root for the brother. They have a brother who's the head coach there, so I definitely understand representation is very important. And when you see people who look and sound and talk like you, it's important to see them get those gigs. So I definitely get where you're coming from, brother. I do get it.
Hey, Sean, thanks for being here. Appreciate that. You do realize we can have a super recruiting weekend this Saturday if we wanted to. Every kid who has visited can visit again and others.
That is true. When there's a coaching change, you can, that's a good point. And if it's pins already to the paper, you could have a big weekend this weekend. Sean, hey, I like that, which is huge because if you can get them all to agree to official visits and they all sign, you could get some of them to wait until February, or if you could convince them well enough, you could get them a chance to sign next Wednesday. That's a great point.
We've got Canes fan 305 here. Appreciate that contribution, sir. Transfer portal watch from any player from Oregon now?
I would think so. There are some people who I would think could step in and hit the portal and want to follow Coach Cristobal. There's also maybe some people who can hold it against them and things of that nature. So we'll see.
I'm scanning the roster for Florida players. We've got a defensive tackle Brandon Dorless from Fort Lauderdale, but he's a sophomore. So just look at the Oregon roster, folks, and just scan it for South Florida or Florida players in general, and you'll see it's only reasonable, not that they're automatically going to leave, but those would be the prime candidates you would think that they signed at Oregon because of Mario Cristobal and what was going on there, which is no longer going on there to a certain extent, unless they fell in love with the school and the team. So that's where that stands right now.
Are we done with the donation?
Oh, got some more coming in here. We've got Abe's on the line. Says that Mario needs to hire Joe Brady as soon as possible.
I agree. Like I said, I had a different viewpoint as far as having Mario as the CEO, head coach, program builder. He has a head coach of offense, head coach of defense. And then the way I was thinking is with a Tom Herman and with a Will Muschamp. Reports are coming out that he's going to have a very big budget for assistant coaches. And I believe if we're going to do that, then we need to swing for the fences as the two coordinators, in my opinion.
Thank you, Abe. Appreciate that. We also have a question coming in from Swerve. I wholeheartedly believe within 2 to 3 years, Mario can catapult this roster to a playoff team. 2 to 3 years.
Can you see that?
I got it.
Anybody else? Because we got some people in here that say it's not official. That's the official Miami Hurricanes football channel, football Instagram. Just ask it. Yeah. Caption: back where he belongs. Welcome home, Coach Cristobal. We got him. We got him right where we need him. We got him. Hey, look, Walker, can we have a day to the haters? Can we have a day, please? Y'all can get after me tomorrow. Can we have our day today, please? Okay, can we be happy? Can we be happy, dog? Can you be happy for us getting our stuff together and hopefully pushing you all to continue to get better at North Carolina, to continue to get better at Virginia Tech? Can we be happy? Can you be happy for your boy? Come on, Luke. Come on, dog. Be happy for your boy, man. I'm having a good day today. You know, we're being positive. You know, I always let you on the channel. You be trolling, it's all right. But to the haters, can y'all just let us have a day today? You know, just give me a 100 symbol if you just letting us have a day today. Just go ahead, give me a fist. Give me a fist up. Let me have a day, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hot dog, man.
One day.
Get positive energy in here from the chat.
One day. And this coming from a guy, Luke. Luke, it's great to have you. You know that. And but it's funny coming from a fan of a team that started preseason top 10 and finished 6-6.
I get that, man. He says it's funny to say that a team that won 7 games could be in the playoff in 2 years. I'm sorry. Didn't Mario go like 7-5 his first year there, 8-4, and then within 2 years had 2 Pac-12 championships and had a Rose Bowl under his belt?
Yep.
So no. Go ahead and read it.
What do we got? Oh, okay. Mr. Obus, appreciate you being here. Thank you for the contribution. What do you think about hiring Charlie Strong as defensive coordinator? He was the DC at Florida with Urban. He rebuilt the Louisville program and won the Sugar Bowl there.
If it were to happen, I think he's doing solid in the NFL with his linebackers there. My only gripe with that is the last time he called defensive plays in modern-ish football was like middle last decade at Texas, and it was getting carved up. Again, if Miami is speaking about willing to use upwards of $25 million to build a staff, if we are willing to do that, and again, no disrespect to you, my brother, Mr. Obus, I'm just saying, period. If we are willing to spend that money, let's swing for the fences. We did a good job, in my opinion, good to great job in landing Mario Cristobal. But for Mario Cristobal to be successful, it is a very well-known fact. He must be surrounded with some of the best coaches around him because he can have it. He's going to get the guy, he's going to galvanize the troops. He's going to build the program. He's going to get everybody focused. The day-to-day X's and O's and the preparation and then the in-game stuff is what he has had to work on the last 2 seasons at Oregon. This year, it took a step up as far as X's and O's. So, again, man, I think we can go a little better. I think we can, just to give you a preview of tomorrow's show, you with me and Mark, I think we can go in 2 directions defensively that make financial sense and recruiting sense. Jimmy Lake, former defensive coordinator at UW, which is Washington, he also got let go this past a couple weeks ago for altercation, which happens. It's unfortunate. I wish him the best. Okay, that's 1. 2, I think, would be Will Muschamp due to his connections from the state of Florida, his connections in the SEC. He is also a very good defensive mind. He's just not a good head coach as far as percentage wins and things of that nature, and having the respect and understanding of offense and allowing his offense, like getting a good offensive coordinator and things of that nature. But we talk about recruiting. You talk about defensive prowess. You talk about special teams prowess, those kind of things, that kind of coach. Again, those are the 2 people I believe. I'll do some more extensive research to see where we can go. And I think it'll be a good show tomorrow. We'll go over staff implications.
EJ Marco Jr., thank you so much for the contribution. Appreciate that. 15 years of misery transformed in 1 day to hashtag time for the takeover. Go Kings.
I can't stop smiling, man. I can't stop smiling. It's a good day, man.
I understand that. I understand that. I'm not really connecting it emotionally until I just related it to something in my past. Because otherwise, you folks know what the deal is. I run college football channels. I love college football. I watch as much of it as I possibly can. I'm ingrained in it every day. So most of you watching know what my deal is. Not a Miami fan, not a Miami hater. I cover the team. I love the connection I've got with the Wholesome One and with Cam Underwood. And I just love covering college football, but have no rooting interest. That said, it just I was just reminded of when Ohio State hired Urban Meyer. I immediately called my son and said, we won the national championship.
I'm not willing to go that far just yet for us.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, again, I don't think that these 2 coaches are on any inkling of the same level. Coach Urban Meyer is one of the top 3 coaches of all time.
That could change, but okay, so as of right now, yep.
And I agree with that. But I got out in front of that because, you know, we got all these people in here, got haters and lovers alike. And the comment section is wide open as long as you come with respect. So I do understand from that perspective. I'm just letting you know in advance. We're talking about the emotional connection. We are not talking about the fact that
absolutely. I was going to make that point as well. Just to underline that. I was trying to make, and I did make an emotional connection here in the last 5 minutes with that, but not comparing the coaches and their records or anything like that. Just the emotional connection of this is a splash hire that is going to make a difference. That's where the connection can be made as well. I am going to, like everyone else and like the wholesome one asked, I'm going to make this a day of celebration. Michael, thank you so much for the contribution. Appreciate that so much. Because tomorrow I'm going to raise one concern, and I'll let you address that tomorrow. And you'll be able to anticipate it. It's not coming out of left field or anything. It's concerning some of the games played this year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it'll be a great conversation tomorrow. I'm excited about it because there are what we have spoken about in the Miami Hurricanes fan base, and again, it was very public. It came down to a two horse race, and eventually it became a one horse race, and that's why people do think that I have something against Lane Kiffin because I was talking about the two and who I really wanted, and I don't have anything against Lane Kiffin. I think he is a wonderful coach. Um, at the end of the day, Miami went a different direction. And the beautiful part about it is I think a lot of us were kind of holding our breath, Mark, because we didn't know if it would work out. How would you feel if you do this full court press and he still tells you no and leaves you at the altar? All right. So that kind of thing. And then there was this whole uproar about insiders and things of that nature, Mark. We get called fake insiders and YouTube know-it-alls, and you just, it's a guessing game and all that kind of stuff. I said for a very long time, this was the hire. Again, IMO, in my opinion, this was the hire, the right way to go, and to truly take it to a different level. And I think that Miami can do that. Again, we will address some of the questions and some of the red flags or some of the pimples or warts or however you want to call it with having this Coach Cristobal come in. And I think I'm holding off on a lot of those things, Mark, until we see the staff he's surrounded with. Once those kind of things start to happen, then we can discuss from that point on. But as of right now, at face value, Miami got their guy. Miami got their guy. Miami got our guy.
Because as you just alluded to, being left at the altar, the reports, I'm sure, are confirmed and they are real that Oregon didn't just sit back and let this happen. They made their push. I think even Cristobal made a comment that they're working on some things. He made some kind of comment after the Pac-12 championship game that Oregon has presented some stuff or said something to that. So obviously they made their counteroffer. They didn't just say, yeah, oh, this is going to happen and we can't do anything about it. They did everything they could to hang on to him. So they wanted him there.
Yeah, we did. We did. we did. We did. And it worked out. It worked out. Again, I could be on here flipping tables, about us losing to Virginia Tech or something like that. But for today, as far as December 6, 2021, as far as I go back listening to the video from 2019, I did last night, and my hair was a little shorter, of course, but we were on Google, and I remember talking about we need the elite hire, go get Mario Cristobal, and that was after Coach Rick decided to step away. And to hear me say that then, and hear how I've grown and how graduated and things of that nature, and learning how to articulate myself a little better, and it was it brought me to an emotional state because it was like this is something you feel like you kind of manifest to a certain extent. Again, I had nothing to do with it. I don't have any money to help these people. Okay, bring in all those millions, but they did, and again, for him to put pen to paper, there had to be a great agreement on what Miami is going to do moving forward. It could be a 3 to 6 to 8 year thing. It could take a while to build those facilities. It could take a while to kind of get some of those things that we need. But the commitment to that, we're happy. And again, we're excited about it. There's no need to go back and forth and attack one another. If you were a Lane Kiffin supporter, that's cool. Again, I came on and was very public about it or who I wanted. But if we went into Lane Kiffin, I would have put on the visor, came here and smiling and happy and saying, let's get it. Let's hashtag let's be jerks. Shout out to Cam Underwood. But again, the growth. The growth.
Enlightened ones, we appreciate your contribution. We will honor your question. Come back tomorrow, or if you can't come back live, certainly watch the replay, because the wholesome one's going to have more time, and we're going to have more time to honor that question and do it justice, to review candidates for the coaching staff, offense and defense. Right. And we do have Abe coming back with, do you think the roundtable had a big impact on this hire? I think we may have lost the wholesome one. Maybe he'll realize that we have disconnected. He's frozen. Abe, I do not personally have knowledge of what you're talking about there, so the wholesome one's going to have to answer that one. Do you think the roundtable had a big impact on the hire? So we will get to that question, if not today, Abe. Again, we're going to be back on Tuesday, 1:15 Eastern. Tuesday at 1:15 Eastern with the wholesome one. He's going to continue, of course, to analyze this hiring. We're going to look at the offense and the defense, and the coaching staff is obviously the head coach's number one priority, assembling that staff on both sides of the ball and special teams as immediately as possible, and then focus on recruiting a class that is not favorable right now for Miami for 2022 with the National Signing Day on December 15th. That is only 2 weeks from Wednesday, but consider that, as we talked about earlier, that Mario Cristobal is going to be in position to have a much easier, not easy, but easier time than the typical head coach going to a new program. I compared it against Brian Harsin coming all the way from Boise State to Auburn with no ties to Alabama or the SEC, and having to try to maintain a class and retain those players in a short period of time. Mario Cristobal, with his ties to Miami, his alumni status, player status, all of that, should be much easier to do that. Wholesome one.
I don't know, Mark. They hating on us. My computer just went down on me, but technology works in mysterious ways. So I'm here, and let's keep it rolling. If you still got time, talk to me.
I have some time. Abe has this question: do you think the roundtable had a big impact on this hire?
It could have. Was that is he talking about the alumni? Yeah, I think he.
I guess I don't know.
Yeah, that went on about a week or so ago. All right, let's get in good position. All right, here we go. Yeah, went on about a week or so ago as far as the alumni speaking about the importance of football alumni, surrounding some of the best names and biggest names that have come through here. Had a nice roundtable conversation at the University of Miami on campus. It wasn't about the University of Miami somewhere else. No. They were there with the, Alonzo Highsmith and Ed Reed and a whole bunch of Melvin Brantley and all those big time name guys were there and contributing big time. So that was a good thing about that. And I think it did play a part. It played a part because they had to, in my opinion, express that pain and express how important it was to them to get this right and to see Miami do things in the right way, and to not only just come in and beg, but to let them know the importance of investing in something. Okay, you get what you put into things. And Miami had been getting away with not truly investing in a program and building a program for the longest. Mark, we looked like a school that had a football team, that had a school that had a roster of people that play football. But when you compared us to these true elite programs of college football, we paled in comparison. And not only the elite, as far as our facilities and things of that nature, our weight room, Mark, we didn't even compare to some FCS and some high-level group of 5 programs. So there was
serious conversation about that. And the spark came in 2016 around this same time when Mark Richt came here. And one of the first couple of things that came out of his mouth is, where are the big guys? Where's the speed? And where is the football facilities? Where are they? Okay, we share the same weight room and everybody that plays at foot, and for football. For football, there we share them with polo and tennis and soccer. We all share the same weight room, things of that nature. And there's a guy coming from Georgia who, when Kirby Smart took the gig at Georgia, he said, y'all pale and there's nothing you can do to compare to what they're doing at Alabama. And if you want me to ever beat them, you better start investing because you all are so far behind. So they were 10 years behind Alabama, or as far as where Mark Richt viewed the program, is coming from Georgia. Okay. And then when he came to Miami, they must have been 20 years behind Alabama because they're 10 years behind Georgia. So they had that conversation, and a lot of local billionaires truly wanted to invest into the University of Miami. And there's one thing to do this, Mark, they started signing checks. And I'm not talking 200,000, we're talking millions, tens of millions over the last month been given to this football program. And like I said, Mark, these billionaires and they're people too. And eventually, you're gonna get tired of getting pushed around. Eventually you get tired of being talked about and disrespected. Now that disrespect could be warranted based on what you've done. But a lot of people eventually get pretty upset about it. And the question is, what are you gonna do about it? What Miami has proven, what we're gonna do about it, is go out and bring home the right coach that we believe to help us to go to a different level. And we're going to invest millions and hundreds of millions into this football program. And they've done it up until this very second and continuously to do it. And we're hoping that it shows out on the football field.
Yeah, those multimillionaires, they play golf with their buddies that graduated from Georgia or Florida or wherever, and kid them about Miami losing football games. So
it is. Think about that, Mark. I mean, how many times you're going to go to the local country club and your boy, who's a Tallahassee grad, and his wife went to UF, and they're laughing at you about your 5 national championship program with the turnover chains losing to Florida International University. It doesn't feel too good. Or giving up the most passing yards in school history, a year after giving up the most rushing yards in school history, giving up the most points in a single game in school history. And again, it's not a Manny Diaz, crap on fest. I'm just saying there's certain things that it is what it is. And a lot of those conversations were had, and a lot of them were tough to talk about, but they happen.
What's the bowl record the last 11 or 12 years? 1 and
I
11?
think Miami's 1-10 in their last bowl games or something like that.
Yeah. All right, man. That's the wholesome one. That is the wholesome one. He is a happy man. He has been calling for this for years, Mario Cristobal, to come home and coach the Canes. And he got it today.
Yep.
So we appreciate everybody being here. Check out the Wholesome Ones channel if you have not. Do it today. Do it right now. H1H, Wholesome One Holloway, right here on YouTube. Subscribe and hit that bell for the notifications, and do it here as well.
We appreciate it, Mike. Thank you. Thank you so much, man. I'll be on tonight at 8 p.m., 8:15-ish my time. We're going to have a call-in portion of the show so people can come in and speak about it. We also have the bowl game announcement of Miami versus Wazoo. And that film breakdown will be coming out on Wednesday to break down Wazoo. But today, we're going to celebrate. We're going to have a good time. And I can't wait. I can't wait for the show. Again, Mark, thank you so much for the opportunity. When I got the DM and I knew I had today off, I was willing to hop on and talk about it. And once it became official, it took me to a different level. So I appreciate you allowing me to be here and speaking about something I'm so passionate of, and a person who I'm excited about to see where you can take the program, man. See where you can take the program.
All right, folks, deeper dive tomorrow with a wholesome one right here, 1:15 Eastern. We'll see you then.